Welcome, beloveds. And thank you for joining us here in our new location, sitting in plastic chairs because we have no furniture yet. This is the humor of it. So we were going to do this outside. There's this beautiful lanai out there. It's lanai, or it's gorgeous out there. Like, we'd really like to show it to you. But what happened was I went to plug in the electrical. No electrical works out there. So we had to come back in here. So anyway, but yes, so we're here and we moved in today. So you can see, or see if you can see everybody. We're basic operation. So much miracles and dedication today. And it was a very, well, as all days that we call when we ask Jesus for, this is a very deep day of forgiveness opportunity. Thank you, Jesus. Sometimes in the middle of it, you're not feeling so thankful. Good thing today's lesson was gratitude, but I still feel the gratitude in it. Because I was asking Jesus about it, because when we went to do the close, it was like we had 10 minutes or something like that to go, and the realtor says, and by the way, you need another $300. She hadn't sent me the closing document. So then that was a miracle, because then my card wouldn't work, and Deb was there, and so she handed me money, so you'd be getting so that was like 5 minutes before the close. And then we go into the close. I keep asking Jesus, where's the smooth? He says, your mind is where the smoothness is. Not what's happening in form. Because sometimes it just seems like, well, Jesus, like, I'm doing everything. It's supposed to be going my way. No, what's appearing is what's most helpful, right? And just staying with Jesus. Okay, I'm like, stay with Jesus, stay with Jesus. So we get in there, and then so we're kind of going along, and I get the prompt to ask about, because the property's on the water and has this thing that I asked for, and we had gone through the details of it, because this is federal land out here, and you don't have to, but it's advisable to have a grant for that green, everything that's green out there. We just have a tiny piece of property, and the rest of it's federal zone. So I could hear, yes, it's very good. I can hear Jesus now to get because Jesus is practical, to get them to transfer the federal zone over, but they hadn't kept up with it, and they hadn't updated for the federal zone, and so they put in an application for it, and right in the middle of the close, I said, like, there's something missing here, for this federal zone thing. It hadn't been taken all the way. Well, then right in the middle of all that, Jesus is saying, these are just all doubt thoughts, Stormy. Well, the doubt thoughts were really flying in there. Let me tell you, the owner was, but how can you say Jesus is asking for this? It was like, ooh, it was, and I'm just like, staying with Jesus. What do I do? Jesus. Well, and I can see that if we really want to hear Jesus, it was so helpful, and the pastor would have gone, well, something's going wrong. But what's really helpful about it is that I could see, and I'm seeing more and more, like, not to follow all that stuff that's kerfuffling that's happening out there, and just I could still hear Jesus, okay? I mean, and the owner's like this. And like my old self would have, jumped in more, or, well, I can't sign this document, it's like they're breaking out into different rooms and going to talk about it. And Jesus, do I sign this piece of paper? It was so amazing, like in the past I just kept going, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And just follow. And at the last minute, the owner is refusing to sign because they want me to take on half the responsibility, quote unquote, responsibility for something that didn't happen, that may not happen, that's going to cost, I don't know, $1,700. Now, if Jesus says, this is what I'm learning, then I'm going to do it. Like, but I asked you, no. So I just like, and they would just like the temperature in that room kept going up, seemingly. But I just, I was like, I'm going to follow Jesus. I just go, I could feel emotions starting to rise up. It's like, no, I'm following Jesus. And down to the wire, like she's going, I don't want to sign this. And why won't you do this? And I'm just going, Jesus, do I sign? This is going to cost you $41,000. You're going to lose your deposit. Jesus, what do I do? It was so helpful. I was willing, and it was so freeing. I have to say this, it was so freeing. I was just ready to say, okay, Jesus, if you want me to drop out $41,000, I'm walking out, if he tells me. And it's the level of freedom in this, the level of like joy. Like even some of that was happening in the beginning. I was like so happy, and it's all, and I kept going to Jesus. I said, Jesus, is this in purpose? He'd go, yes. All this kerfuffling, is this in purpose? Seemingly in form. It's just so helpful. There's just no way to talk enough about following Jesus, and it, down to the wire, the owner's going, I'm not unless she's, and I'm seeing how much in life, like decisions to compromise, to kind of work a deal, or like my old self, I was a contract negotiator. I hardly read this contract, that was my whole fun code in life, going out and negotiating contracts. I hardly read the thing. I just go, Jesus, where am I going to sign? I'm serious. The notary comes up, hands me the paper. They're still like this. He goes, to sign here. Jesus is going to be all right. All right, to sign the paper. But I can remember like in the past, I would have been 1,000 worries like for the future about it, and I'm just really, I was just so grateful actually. And to walk out, like I can see a little bit of mind thing every now and then about it, but it can't hook, I don't feel differently about them. I still feel love. I would love them, even though at the end he goes, you're not my friend anymore. At the end of it, they're really both so adorable. They're really seemingly in form. I said, Jesus, this desired experience? He says, yes. I accept everything that appears in form. I'll take it. So anyway, it was kind of fun. I wanted to share that with my fabulous, mighty companions. I love you. And just go, okay, I don't care what's rising, I'm still following Jesus. I don't care. You could see like that temptation comes to, fall back in old ways. And I can see by really staying and saying no, like no to those, and no, because out here is designed to be the no to God too, right? If we're falling in it. So it's like, no. Mm-mm. We can hear that voice whenever we want. Atomic bomb, we can hear that voice. So that's what I'm going with. So it was fun to share. So thanks for your reflection. So with that, I'm glad we're joining in light. I'm sorry. Oh gosh. Let the games begin. Okay, so I'll tell you what came in tonight, and thank you, because you're part of our community too. And of course, you're us. Yeah. And so there's some monastery precepts for the monastery that honor the light within. And so I thought it feels really beautiful, just read through them and just, kind of express what Jesus says about these. So, and these are Jesus' promises. This is our divine nature, is choiceless awareness. That's all there is. This light that we focus on every night. Say what's true. Yeah, to see what's true, like right now. It's right now. We can see that infinite light that's here just by that one thought of joining. And then through the Christ, we have so much support. We have the Course of Miracles. We're given each other for support. And so through this request by Jesus' call to come together in truth for this monastery, here's the things that are on the list on the monastery for what we honor, to honor the light within. The first one is to inquire constantly into the nature of the self. What am I? Because we're so used to following those ideas about ourselves. Who am I really? What am I really? I am not a body, I am free. And really explore the light. And it sounds funny that we would explore the light, but we're so used to playing not being the light that that's part of almost the rediscovery and the trust. Because when we really look, and the light, does the light need trust? The light that we share, Jesus, we can ask him, Jesus, does the light need to have any trust? The light that we're born as? And if we listen really carefully, we can hear him say, no. No, because the light just is. The light that we share just is here. Always. So to really turn our minds into who is the nature of I am, like Ramana Maharshi. And Jesus, if you look at it, it's so embedded in the Course of Miracles, this whole thing of questioning the denials. Are these denials true? That is the continual inquiry into the nature of our true nature. And these light circles were exploring what's true. Is this world true, or am truly the light of being? The second precept is the action at the center is an alignment in service to God, freedom from personal identity. And so in that, we follow what Jesus teaches. Continually ask the light within, the Holy Spirit, for guidance for what's most helpful in service to seeing what is true. And when we're not sure about that here, and of course we invite our beloveds too, because you're our family, this love doesn't say, okay, you're in and you're out. It's like that warm invitation to join. We come together with each other, like when we're not sure, when our minds are not clear and that we're totally in alignment with spirit, then we come together and pray on everything together. So we've talked about it here, 24/7, someone will be available for joining. Come jump on the bed if you need it. We've already laughed about that. And believe me, we've done this before. I mean, we used to pile into the bunks at La Casa, and sometimes that little thing boils at night. And so we have each other here for that, to come together to see what's true. What a gift. Now, this next, Jesus talks about this in the Course, but you hear it almost talked about more in other spiritual traditions, and that is rest is presence, the I am presence, the sense of beingness. That's the only meditation. Just notice as we sit here in the light, the sense of being. Muji talks about it. Just resonate as being. The light expressing into a body, the I am presence. And when we rest as that presence, Jesus talks about it in Course of Miracles, Ramana Maharshi talks about it, Muji talks about it. Instead of engaging in movement, thought, feelings, emotion, we're really just in this silent presence that blooms like a flower within us. the more time we cultivate lesson 44, lesson 189, lesson 188. Drop all thoughts and come empty-handed to your God. The light. And Jesus gives one extra, the bonus lesson. I haven't seen in any spiritual tradition, the thought of joining with your brother in your mind. How powerful that is. Just one thought. Renee, in my mind is one. I can feel the happiness just in that one thought. Like it just goes so deep. Or Leah, and add Leah, why not? Why limit? Add a few extra. The thought of Leah and myself, oh my God, that's just, you just feel yourself going, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And humane, just tap into that universal love that's yourself. And Anya, tap in. And Judith. And Lori, the owner of the house. And Peggy, the owner of the house, who sold it today. And the notario who wrote up the agreement. And Emmy, the real estate agent. And Barbara, the other real estate agent. To just celebrate that pureness of what's already joined. Ego doesn't like that at all. Because it wants separation. It's going to say, no, don't join, or it'll come up with 1,000 reasons not to come together with a brother. They're too busy, Santa Claus is coming soon. You know, it's a long list. We know these things. But what's great about these beings that are here, like Nikki and Annie, you know, they're like, talk about it. We get together. We take a look at this. That's unspeakable because it's so precious and it's so for God. And that's what we do here. Everyone here is like so devoted. Okay, we're going to look and we're going to see. We're going to see what's in that closet. So rest is presence, that experience of pure, untouched being, the I am presence. Just marinate in that, as that, because that's who you are. It seems about marinating in something, or it's just resting as ourselves. The next one is treat everyone with love and humor. Oh, honor. It's small print in here. Maybe Jesus has given me a message. Happy laughter. Okay. Isn't Jesus great? Y'all are all Jesus. It's so good. Okay, now, y'all are all. And honor for the light they are. Oh my gosh, this is so good. What a good lesson today from Jesus. Thank you, I just heard it. Oh my God. That is so freaking deep. If I had not followed Jesus, even when my brother's angry, like the smoke was rising, okay, that seemingly in form, what I realized, it's so profound. I heard this in the car driving back, and this was reminding of it. I'm not honoring my brother to give in to that seeming demand that's there. You know, I'm not honoring God. In the ways of the world, that would be, oh, you're not honoring, and, you know, Jesus would never act like this, and all those reflections. But it was so to see that to follow Jesus honors everyone, right? Even though in form it seems like all this stuff is happening. But that's having faith in my brother, having faith in him being whole, you know? And complete, that every brother's complete. That's what he means by honor them for the light. So it doesn't, honoring someone doesn't mean You know, we've used the word people-pleasing. Honoring means this and only this, regardless of whatever complaints or whatever appears in form. We're always going straight up. Without seeing the light in everyone, you cannot see it in yourself. So it's almost like it's so far beyond people-pleasing. It's divinity expressing. And the test will come for us to make a decision, because it's not a decision, I'm seeing over and over, he's teaching me, it's not a decision about whether to sign the contract. The decision is to express as divine being, rather than to express as limited identity and buy into limited identity and that, you know, going down that train. That's what I'm seeing. It's not buying this place. It's the expression, the full expression of divinity. That's what we're interested in. So the next precept is, joining in light of truth is a priority at the center, as joining denies the ego. So we just talked about that a little bit. So that's our priority, to support each other and seeing what's true. And again, it's just that thought, that one thought that we're joined in it, the whole egoic. I was looking over at Deb thinking, I'm joined with Deb. It's helpful. It's really helpful. I'm joined with Jesus. That was the only thought. Know that every task undertaken with focus and intention to see the truth contributes toward the recognition and celebration of the light within. I love that. That came from something that was at Muji. Like, and I didn't really get that, you know, because sometimes in community, well, most of the time in community, you're asked to be doing things the I really doesn't want to do, because the whole point of it is to find those places where love is denied in this moment. So when we use that moment rather than the movement outward toward, okay, what's wrong, we're using it to go, okay, what decision am I making against myself? Like if I'm sweeping, I can remember that going into community and they were having me sweep. I was so mad. You know, why am I still sweeping after all these years? You know, it's that I went into the whole mind thing. But now we're just so devoted. We're just going, okay, let me see what happens. Let me see if this sweep in this floor is more powerful than I am. Am I letting the judgment I have be more powerful than I am, to be in perfect peace regardless of what I'm doing? It says, use time within the community well in full devotion to recognition of the divine light within. Trust that everything that is provided by the center, what you're asked to undertake, and those around you all support the call of your heart to awaken. Yeah, I can give myself as the one I wasn't ready for that at all when I first went in community. So, you know, it's because the whole point is to unwind, you know, from an idea of a personal identity. And we are learning to trust one another in this. Because trust, as Jesus says so beautifully, he's reminded me again, trust never goes out this way. There's nothing out there. Trust is always pointing back to trusting ourselves until we see that who we are and accept it fully and see when we see who we are, there's no trust at all. It's because we can see it. We look in the divine light. Is trust. Can we find trust in divine light that we are? It just is. Doesn't really comment on anything. The other thing, the reason for silence here, well, Jesus is asking for it. You know what I'm reasoning? Jesus doesn't have a because for anything. I'm learning that. I've probably said that before. Jesus doesn't have a why. Like in the world, okay, why won't you go ahead and split this 50-50 with me? You know, in the world, you'd come up, why wouldn't I pick up that 50-50 on the payments for this piece of the, you know, this permit out here. Let's just use that as an example. But I'm seeing divine being has no reasons. It's the reasons that are death. The ego is the one that comes up with all the why statements and the wherefores. So that said, Jesus is very practical. So he's going to say, so the ego loves to move horizontally. When we're not feeling like something's uncomfortable, and you can notice it, you probably notice this yourself, there's a throw off comment. What about them birds out there? Or whatever. What about, it's these really subtle ways in which there's a story that comes out, and so by staying silent, we have to be really with our own thoughts very deeply and see what our projections are in it. And even David Hoffmeister said this too, and this is why Muji has a silent ashram. All that boils because it can't find something to ping to. It can't go out this way somewhere. So it helps to, and it's also with the mindfulness training, who are you? Who are we? What are we? It's this continual question rather than going out and looking for comfort somewhere in form or something outside ourselves. That's why the silence. And it also helps us with the mind training to continually ask, what purpose does whatever come out of this mouth serve? Does it serve the Christ, or is it serving to try to project something outside of myself? So it becomes a helpful mindfulness. Oh, here's today's lesson. Say thank you to existence unceasingly. Keep your heart full of gratitude, for true nature of being is gratitude. We're learning to sing like the little God crickets. To see that we're already singing as God crickets. This is a beautiful one too. Say yes to the true with all your heart, for you are aligning with the happiness of who you really are. And that really goes to the yes. I just feel it so much with the beings that have been coming on these light circles and in myself, and the beings that are here, like that willingness to say yes, because we don't know what we're really saying. We forgot what we're really saying yes to. Again, I can see how many things when Jesus would ask me something, I'd think, oh, I'm saying yes because this is going to be good for me. But Jesus, I did it and it doesn't feel so good for me. It's like, that's exactly the point, because the me who thinks it's good is the very one that's generating all the problems. So we're really saying yes to only one thing, and that is who we really are right now, rather than the idea we have of who we are. Yes to the expression of divine nature, infinite happiness. Move with the honesty and integrity of pure being, with openness and willingness to be shown the power of who you are. That's what we're really discovering. The forgotten song of how abjectly powerful we are. Jesus giving these assignments, okay, the assignment to seemingly buy a property, or the assignment to come together in assignments. And each layer as it goes, we just see it more and more. Wait a minute, I'm a powerful infinite being. What am I getting all involved in that traffic for? Then just let that traffic pass by and not get involved. Now this is one that I think I would have been really angry about this one if I had really looked at it. I'm sure I probably had an argument over it several years ago. Know that the only happiness is to live as though you have no rights. Like in America, that's what you supposedly fought for, it was to have rights. But when we look at divine infinite being, the light that's here, does the light know anything about having rights? It just is. And I recognize that, that suddenly it was like, holy smokes. To live without rights is happiness. No expectations. These rights are an attempt to limit the unlimited. Something right and something could be wrong. And this is just a good, beautiful statement too. Know that you are carried by grace and uplifted by angels in your devotion to true nature. You know, Jesus says that it doesn't have to be painful, and it just seems in form that it seems to be that way. Yet sometimes we're objecting to the very thing that's helping us the most. Like when we start to see that's purpose for everything, like whatever is happening in that room today. You know, I just knew Jesus's purpose behind it. Like he's full support. And whatever's arising, that it really is serving, because we only have to ask once to be shown that we're a divine being. And like it's not like heaven goes, well, you haven't given me enough yet, so I'm not going to give it to you. The full power of being's right here, right now. So we are always carried by grace and uplifted by angels in our devotion to true nature. So we thank you for your symbols of devotion. Because you start looking around and you see, oh my gosh, there's that angel there, and this angel here, and that one, and this one, and this one. They've been angels all along. How did I miss that? Because I can remember, I'm going to ask Jesus if there's any more of that, because I always like to want a squeaky clean slate when it comes to my brother. But really, I could see it when I was looking, you know, and Jesus was showing me, and it's like, oh my God, I really don't want my brother to be myself. I really don't. Oh, that just feels horrible. I mean, if I looked really deep down in there, it's like, I don't want you people to be, you know, however that was playing in consciousness. Well, however it plays, we're still beautifully innocent. So I thank you for joining me, and I thank these beloved beings for joining me. And I would like to we'll see how well it works to open the floor. We don't really know. Our mic system's not set up. If someone wants to share, I guess you can come talk into this. Otherwise, you'll hear all the birds are screaming outside pretty loud. Do you have anything to share, Nikki or Annie or Lisa? Oh, are you good? Or Annie, did you feel?
No.
Oh. Okay.
No. I was just wondering about
Go ahead, say again.
I was just wondering about, I just wanted to hear whether if Judith speaks, whether we can hear her without the mic, whether it comes through or the room's too echoey.
You know what? We could swap chairs so she could come sit right here and speak to you.
Yeah. No, can you say something, Judith, where you are?
Hello.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, we can hear her fine.
Yeah, just come sit here if you would like to ask her something.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I was testing out the volume. I just was wondering about the audio and just testing it out. It is a bit echoey without the furniture.
And no electrical plugs. You know, I tell you what, if you guys are willing, maybe at the end of this, it would be really helpful for us if you stayed on, because we could test out our new mic with you after the recording. Would you feel it? Okay. Does anybody else feel to say something?
Everything is very...
Okay. So we'll just end right at this moment and the recording, and then we'll stay on and see if we can't get the microphone to work.